Alright guys, welcome back to the channel where we track down, body snatch, and react to nothing but the wildest videos I can find on the internet. So whether you like it, love it, or hate it, we're going to react to it. Let's get after it.
According to Plato, Atlantis was a place of incredible wealth and advanced technology. But where was Atlantis located? Plato described it as being beyond the Pillars of Hercules in the Atlantic Ocean. Some believe Atlantis may have been inspired by real events, like the destruction of the Minoan civilization on Crete.
The real Atlantis, the city swallowed by the sea. Long before legends of an Atlantis lost to the ocean, there was a real city on the coast of ancient Greece that vanished almost overnight. Its name was Helike, a prosperous city in the...
Helike is another city that I want to try and dig into. I'm not sure if they're the same city, if it's the same city as Atlantis or not, so we're going to find out.
Northern Peloponnese, known for its wealth, temples, and thriving markets. Helike was not just another town. It was a symbol of human civilization at its peak. People worshipped gods, traded goods across the Aegean, and celebrated life with festivals, music, and culture. And then one day it disappeared forever. In 373 BC, the citizens of Helike were going about their daily lives when the earth trembled. Small tremors had been reported before, but no one expected what was coming. That night the ground shook violently. Some thought it was a bad dream, others prayed. But the tremors were only the beginning. A catastrophic earthquake fractured the land beneath the city. Buildings collapsed, temples fell, streets split apart. Panic swept through the streets as citizens ran for their lives. And then the sea came. In a single horrifying surge, the coastline was swallowed. Waves rushed inland, pulling houses, merchants, and families into the deep. Helike, once vibrant and alive, was engulfed by a mixture of water, mud, and debris.
Are they just saying that a tsunami came in and tore this city out?
Entire neighborhoods were erased. No one survived. To the people of nearby cities, it was as if the gods themselves had punished Helike, obliterating it in a moment of wrath. For centuries, Helike lay hidden beneath layers of mud and silt. It became a story, a warning whispered in myths. Ancient writers described a city that disappeared into the sea, never to be seen again, and scholars speculated about its fate. Over time, it became linked to the legend of Atlantis, a cautionary tale about pride, hubris, and the fragility of human achievement. But unlike Atlantis, Helike was real, and modern archaeology has uncovered its ruins, revealing streets, foundations, and artifacts preserved under the...
So they're saying Helike is the actual place. The city of Atlantis is a, what do you call it? It's just a myth. It's the story about Helike.
The earth, silent witnesses to the sudden destruction. The story of Helike teaches more than just history. It teaches humility. Civilization can flourish for centuries, yet in a single night, nature can reclaim everything.
Facts.
Wealth, culture, even religion. Nothing is immune to the raw forces of the world. And yet the people of Helike left a mark. Through their architecture, their art, and the story of their destruction, they continue to speak to us across millennia, reminding us that life is fragile, fleeting, and precious. Helike is a city swallowed by the sea, yes.
Man, can you imagine having one of those coins?
But it is also a city that survived through memory, through stories, and through the enduring fascination of humanity. Its lesson is clear. Even the mightiest cities are mortal, and the world we take for granted can vanish in the blink of an eye. History remembers those who are lost not to erase them, but to remind the living that every moment matters, and that courage, resilience, and human achievement are worth cherishing. Because tomorrow is never guaranteed.
Facts. That is a fact, guys. I don't know what's going on here.
scientific evidence that indicates that Atlantis actually existed. Atlantis was said to be an empire made up of 10 kingdoms, and then there was the lost city of Atlantis, which was the capital, was said to be made up of concentric circles.
Jamie, will you pull up the photos of these concentric circles?
Yeah, the wrist shot. When I first saw this, I was like, what the f*** is that? By the way, you see those white blemishes?
Uh-huh.
That's salt.
Salt. All that was salt.
It's also commonly referred to as the Eye of the Sahara, and just so happens to match to what Plato had described as the lost ancient capital city of Atlantis, which was said to be made up of concentric circles, 3 of water, 2 of land. It also was said to have an opening to the sea at the south. It was said to have mountains to the north.
But I mean, it used to be underwater.
A lot of people don't know, Joe, that the Sahara goes back and forth from green to desert approximately every 20,000 years. The Sahara was a lush green tropical paradise which had the largest known freshwater lakes, for example, Mega Lake Chad, and it also had some of the largest known rivers throughout the world.
So 20,000 years ago, this was all green, lush forest?
No, Joe, 5,000.
5,000.
So
really? When did they think Atlantis was?
So this is 600 BC, and Plato said that it happened 9,000 years earlier, so that would be 11,600 years ago, which coincides with the Younger Dryas climate catastrophe, which makes it so compelling. To me, that is actual scientific evidence that indicates that Atlantis actually existed.
What if I told you
That's
the greatest
crazy,
city ever
dude.
built didn't vanish by accident? It was erased from history on purpose. Atlantis. A city so advanced that even...
This is where I've been going with this, guys. I've been, like... You guys, I've been telling you guys since I started this channel that the Earth will eat itself. Not only will it eat itself, history repeats itself. If you don't change something, if you don't change what you're doing, you're definitely going to be in that stupid cycle of repeating history.
Today's scientists can't explain half the things ancient texts describe. They say its buildings glowed without fire, and energy flowed through crystals like electricity. Life there was peaceful, powerful, and far ahead of anything the ancient world had ever seen. But then one night something happened that shook the entire planet. An event so violent, so sudden, that an entire civilization disappeared in a single moment.
You guys, have you guys ever heard people talk about the old world or new world? There's so much shit that's changed between 1,000,000 years ago and 100,000 years ago. And you guys might not even think that we were here 1,000,000 years ago, but let me tell you something. We were here 1,000,000 years ago. Maybe not our civilization, but there was definitely an intelligent life form here before us.
Most people grew up believing Atlantis was just a
Facts.
myth, a story written by Plato. But old maps, strange seafloor structures, and forbidden manuscripts tell a completely different story. They point to a truth historians avoid. Atlantis did exist, and it didn't fall naturally. Some believe it sank from earthquakes. Others claim a giant asteroid hit the ocean. But a small group of researchers believes something far darker. Atlantis was silenced because it became too powerful. And the evidence? Deep under the Atlantic, divers found geometric ruins, stone roads, and buried pillars no natural force could create. So the real question isn't, did Atlantis exist?
I know this is a little bit off. Never mind. Just never mind.
The real question is, who destroyed it? And what were they trying to hide?
Another little detail that most people aren't aware of because they think of Atlantis like, oh, it must be at the bottom of the ocean. Well, that's not exactly how Plato worded it. He did describe that the aftermath of Atlantis followed a catastrophic event involving water. That is that what was left of Atlantis was reeds of grass and a shoal of mud that prevented ships from navigating to and from. And what people don't realize is that Sahara Africa, up until about 4,500 to 5,000 years ago, was totally green. It was tropical. It had the largest network, or one of the largest networks of rivers ever known to exist. It had the largest freshwater lake ever known to exist, which is Mega Lake Chad, which, just to put this into perspective, it is, if you take all the North American Great Lakes combined, that's 94,000 square miles of surface area, whereas Mega Lake Chad was 139,000.
Whoa.
Massive.
So, y'all remember Atlantis, right? The lost world.
Oh my God. Wait, are you about to wait on?
So, there's a couple things, right? Number one.
Right.
The ancient Atlantis that's been talked about from all the people that we know, you know, we read books about, it actually was in Africa. people don't know this. So when the city sank, because some people believe it sank, like it was a flood or something happened, it went into the ocean.
Oh, like
A lot of people believe that the people that lived in Atlantis were black because it was a part of Africa.
Do you believe the theory that sirens come from slaves who jumped overboard on their way to the Americas?
So I'm gonna connect all those dots. Y'all ready for this? All right, watch this. The slaves jumped off the ship. The Atlanteans that were African saved those and literally saved them from the ocean because they had the technology. Okay? These aliens are actually the African Atlanteans that helped the slaves and delivered them from death.
Oh my God.
It goes further. Now imagine this. Area 51 actually is not about aliens. It's actually about time travel. Why is this? The reason why Area 51 is focused on time travel is because they're trying to go back in time to find out where Atlantis sank.
Oh my God.
13,000 years
that's
ago,
the reason Area
there was a
51 is
continent
there?
that we've all talked about, but nobody really believes
That's
it. Plato
crazy.
described it. Nobody really believes it. And it was called Atlantis, and it was really there. And something happened on Atlantis. Actually, it began about 16,000 years ago with a comet that struck the Earth right near Atlantis. And there was something that occurred on Atlantis that the effects of that we are still feeling today. And the problems that we have and everything else were a direct result of what happened at that time. And there was a particular section of Atlantis that were very different than the rest of the people there. And they initiated an experiment based upon what is called the Merkaba. And they set up an external Merkaba that went out of control and began to rip the dimensional levels apart. And that Merkaba is still rotating in the Atlantic, which many people consider or call the Bermuda Triangle. It's based on tetrahedral fields, and it's a triangular field that comes out of there. But what happened in that experiment almost caused the Earth to die, meaning not to be able to be used as a star seed, as a base to grow cultures that go on to other levels of consciousness.
That color.
That's crazy.
Don't it though? That's how your water was everywhere in the planet. All over the planet. Everywhere. Your water was this color like it be in the Caribbean. Your water is polluted now. So that's why the only place left to look like that is the Caribbean. But why? The only reason the Caribbean has the water can't be polluted in the Caribbean is because that is the gateway to the exit portal of this planet. So the sun in the Caribbean forms an electric barrier around it. And you still have that huge ass pyramid because remember the Caribbean, the capital of the Caribbean was Atlantis. It's really Atlanta. Atlanta, Georgia, Miami, all the way to Bermuda, down to Puerto Rico. That whole triangle is really the capital of the whole Atlantis. So in that triangle where that pyramid is at, where they couldn't remove it, they just kind of sunk it using
Some
one of our
people
own
say it's in
titans.
Africa. Some
So they
people
kind of
say
kill
it's
two birds
not.
with one stone. But every so often, because that sun is there and that pyramid is there, it's protecting the pyramid in the Bermuda Triangle is what keeps all the water in the Caribbean blue.
Facts.
That's why the Caribbean never loses its beauty, because of this pyramid.
If you know, you know,
That's
guys.
in the water in the ocean.
Yes, sir.
There is an entire city hidden at the bottom of the ocean, and no one knows who built it. In 2023, Japanese divers were exploring the coast of Yonaguni when they saw something unbelievable. Gigantic stone structures, aligned with millimeter precision. There were staircases, streets, squares, columns, and even what looked like a temple, all made with perfect angles that nature could never create on its own. But when geologists analyzed the formations, they discovered something shocking. They are over 10,000 years old. That means this city
That's so
existed
crazy.
long before civilizations like the Egyptians or Sumerians. The strangest part is that sculptures were found on the site, depicting human faces that resemble no known people in history. And some of these sculptures were clean, free of algae, as if someone had been there recently. Many believe that Yonaguni could be a piece of Atlantis, the legendary sunken city. Others think it's the work of an unknown civilization that may still be alive, but hidden deep beneath the sea. To this day, the area is monitored by unidentified ships, and amateur dives are forbidden. The question is, what are they trying to hide?
Let's see if I can walk you all through this, okay?
God.
This is the 1587 map,
Here
right?
we go.
It shows Antarctica to be dry land. Now, if you look here, it shows South America to be connected to a ring of land with water. See how there's water all the way on the outside? A ring of land with water in the middle, which is, I'm saying, the city of Atlantis. Let me show you why. I printed the map out and drew the outlines, right? Get it? And you see the cones on the outside? I cut the city of Atlantis. Here's the point where South America is connected to the city of Atlantis. Now, this is the most accurate reflection of what the city of Atlantis looked like. Okay, the most accurate reflection.
Did you guys see what he was talking about?
Now, this is Machu Picchu. I'm saying the Inca or the Anasazi. Kind of looks like the city of Atlantis.
Machu Picchu and the city of Atlantis are not the same.
This is Cantona, okay? The Olmecs built Cantona, and I'm saying that the Olmec were the Anasazi. This is Chaco Canyon on the Navajo Nation. And I'm saying that the Anasazi built Cantona and the Inca. That means the Inca controlled the Navy when Atlantis.
Homeboy, I'm not 100% who built the pyramids, who built Atlantis. I'm not sure who built any of that. I think they came from the same builders, honestly. And I think this dude's lost his fucking mind.
Atlantis was the place. Polynesians, right? Let's look at some.
The only thing I seen was maybe there was a connection at the top of that dude's map that he adjusted, which anytime somebody adjusts something, if you rewrite the Bible and you put it in your own words, it's not the Bible. It's your words. If this dude is rearranging maps, that's not a map, that's his creation.
DNA haplogroups all the way down to South America. See, Amerindian, that's what this stands for. Amerindian right here. And this color right here is C. This color is D. But this color is C. And when we come up here, see that little part? That's C. A, B, C. And everybody has A, B, or C, all the way down to the tip of Chile, where it was connected to the city of Atlantis. Now let's check out why. Look at, this is the father's side, the father's lineage, and it's still the same. Look, up here. Look at all the color designations go all the way down to South America, where it used to be connected to the city of Atlantis. So the Polynesians, right?
The crazy thing is now that I've been listening to what he's saying, it's all starting to add up. And why is it adding up?
From the Polynesian islands, they ran the navy. The Anasazi built the structure.
And the way he was saying is that structure goes down and connects with Africa. All that is one big landmass according to his map. That old map before he adjusted it.
And everyone chipped in, right? The Pacific Islanders ran the navy, right? The Anasazi right? Without religion or money, everybody chipping in, everyone working together.
You guys, the city of Atlantis, the way it was set up, nobody had debt. You know what I mean? Everybody was taking care of everybody. I don't know. I mean, of course there was trade. There had to have been some sort of trade that going in and out of there. I don't know. There's just too much. I've heard too many different stories about Atlantis to pin down one particular.
Living in harmony. To do with the technology and how they were going to steal it from us. And we just walked away. The Pacific Islanders went back to the islands. That's when the Anasazi went up, built Machu Picchu, built Cantona, and then went back to Chaco Canyon and eventually disappeared into the realm. Right?
They disappeared into a realm, my man?
The ancestors of the Aztec, and right? We just all walked away from it.
Why? When you had
and
stuff
live
like
peacefully
that.
now. That's why we don't see no other technology that's advanced like that anymore.
Where do you live?
Think about the things I tell you guys. Think about it.
We might have found it. I've been wanting to do this one for so long, and we're finally doing it. The Lost City of Atlantis. Maybe it's not just a myth, it's time. Everyone knows the story. Advanced civilization existed long ago that got lost under the sea. And there is a location in the Western Sahara Desert of Mauritania known as the Eye of the Sahara, or the Rishat structure. Yeah, this one's been beaten to death by all the Atlantis hunters, but it does have striking similarities to Plato's definition of the Lost City over 2,000 years ago.
Hey, it definitely does,
three of
man.
water, two of land, opening to the sea in the south and mountains to the north. White, black, and red stones and an abundance of gold, all of which are prominent features of the Mauritania region. Not to mention, it was even recorded on this ancient map by Roman geographer Pomponius Mela around 43 AD as Atlante in the same geographical region as the Rishat structure. You ever get tired of me saying it must be a coincidence? And the debunkers are likely cringing right now, which is sort of my specialty, as the Rishat structure is one of their favorite sites to shit on, even though it is one of the least studied places on Earth, as it is in a very remote area. You know, red zone, super dangerous, overrun by rogue military forces type shit. But follow-up LiDAR scans of the area did have some interesting finds. Thousands of what appear to be ancient man-made structures found beneath the sands of the Eye of the Sahara. Definitely not.
I've been waiting for this dude to break this shit down for a minute. Thank you, my man. Phil's Pixel. Thank you.
Not something we could call natural. Not necessarily proving Atlantis, but showing that an unrecorded civilization existed in this extremely remote desert sometime in the past. But further in-depth excavation of the region is conveniently too risky to pursue. And any career archaeologist found supporting Atlantis will get mocked and discredited in their community.
Why are you so afraid to dig these things up? If you want to see them, dig them up. You ain't gonna pull them out of the sky.
Communities, so they just try to avoid it. But where did this idea of a lost advanced civilization that sank beneath the ocean even come from? The earliest formal account is by...
Hey, it's like this jerk off over in Giza, you know what I mean, with these pyramids, man. That dude is a joke. That dude needs to let us get in there and find out what is under them pyramids. Because our lives right now is not where it's at. Why do we have to pay our government for our land if we own it? That makes absolutely no sense to me. Beyond all the other things we're dealing with in life, why can't we just go to the Atlantis way of living?
A famed Greek philosopher, Plato, around 360 BC, in one of his many dialogues about a perfect utopian society called Atlantis, which was governed by Atlas. You know, that guy who holds the world on his shoulders. Atlantis roughly translates to Island of Atlas. In Plato's writing Critias, an ancestor of his named Solon visited Egypt way back in 600 BC, where he's told by Egyptian priests of this great advanced civilization that was destroyed by a flood 9,000 years ago, whose story has been passed down for generations and is recorded all over the temples in Egypt. Now, 9,000 years ago from that time,
I feel like nobody knows when Atlantis was. And they definitely don't know where it was. So this thing is just a myth at this point. But I do like where these guys are going with this.
And would be around 9600 BC, conveniently aligned with the Younger Dryas impact, a hypothesized event that resulted in global cataclysms that flooded the world, that is scientifically backed by geological core samples. And Atlantis was around for much longer than that. 9600 BC is just when it got wiped out. It's here where Plato described how it looked with great detail, which many claim is just a myth, a work of fiction that he wrote. And Plato did write many dialogues of presumably fictitious events, such as the allegory of the caves or conversations among friends in the Republic. But he would make it quite obvious in his texts when these fictitious dialogues were just stories that discussed hypothetical, philosophical, or moralistic ideas. In his dialogue Critias, he describes Atlantis in great length, providing super accurate details and dates that had little connection to his overall message of the story. And the strangest part of Critias is that it just ends in the middle of a sentence. Yeah, he didn't even finish this story, as it just comes to an abrupt end as soon as Zeus is about to give an epic speech. Was there someone who told him to stop writing? Did he actually finish it and it was later
or was it because he couldn't
erased from history? Or was it just fiction that he got bored of and he moved on to other writings? You
guys, if you know, you know. You know what I mean? If you're a critical thinker, you know what's going on.
Honestly, never know for sure, but this isn't the last time Atlantis is mentioned in history. But these stories, right? They're just made up myths. Where is the evidence? We'll get to that, because the Temple of Edfu in Egypt has carved into its walls a story about a lost civilization that got flooded and destroyed by a great cataclysm, sounding like a broken record at this point. And Egypt has a recorded lineage of kings that goes back over 30,000 years, but is commonly regarded as just a myth. According to these Egyptian myths, in these earliest of times was a god named Thoth, who was born around 36,000 years ago in an idyllic civilization, where he accumulated great knowledge about the world, the universe, astronomy, writing, government, and even how to achieve immortality, and recorded them on giant slabs of green stones known as the Emerald Tablets. Everything was all fine and dandy until that pesky flood rolls along and destroys everything around 11,000 years ago, 9600 BC. Thoth survives the deluge and is instructed, among a few others, to pass the divine knowledge of the Emerald Tablets on to the next generation. One of the places he visits was a region called Kem, which we know today as Egypt.
Thank you, my man. That's all I could say is thank you. This dude is breaking it down.
Where he reintroduces civilization to a land of savages. He taught the early pre-Egyptians how to write with hieroglyphics, along with astronomy, agriculture, governing, and all the basics of civilization, and allegedly introduced them to the pyramids, which were leftover relics from Thoth's original civilization that got destroyed by the global floods. A similar version of this story is also retold in the Phaedrus, another written work by Plato. Some claim that Thoth was actually Atlantean, and that these megastructures around the world, like the pyramids, Easter Island heads, Kailash Temple, Gunung Padang, Saskatchewan, and so on, are all relics of the Atlantean Empire. Because according to this, Atlantis wasn't just a city or an island, it was a global civilization that existed over 30,000 years ago, and we might just have the evidence for it. Okay, I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna have to make a part 2. I hate doing this, but there was just too much to fit into one video, and I know you wouldn't have watched this if it was like 15 minutes anyway.
That's tight. That is not the city of Atlantis, my man. That is a setup. I mean, who set it up, though? This dude might be right. So, this thing that he's talking about, they train divers, you know, like special response divers and people that are going in to train to do deep diving. They use this facility. However, this facility, I think I understand what dude is saying, but who did build this thing? How long has this thing been there before they added all the junk?
The lost city of Atlantis might have just been found in the Mauritanian desert.
Don't look so surprised. You knew it was going to be me. Firstly, it wasn't just found. This is one of the most well-documented geologic features in the entirety of the Sahara Desert. It is quite literally known as the Eye of the Sahara because of how impressive it is.
Coincidentally, being almost the exact size as Atlantis was described to be.
This is a running trend that we're going to see through this video. It's where this person will say something and it is wrong. It's a little hard to tell here because the satellite view, but the Richat structure is about 25 miles in diameter, or about 40 kilometers in diameter.
Get your shovels, guys. Let's go.
If you live in a country that sees healthcare as a basic human right. Since Plato obviously did not use imperial or metric, he describes Atlantis as being about 3,000 stadia in diameter. Now, since one stadia is around 600 feet, that would mean that Atlantis works out to be about 350 miles in diameter, which is about 550 kilometers if you live in a country that lost the space race. So either way, when you say that this is almost the same size as what Plato described Atlantis to be, I say you are definitely wrong.
Herodotus, who was tasked with the job of compiling the most accurate maps of his time, he places Atlantis in the same area as the structure.
Herodotus never made a map. Like, seriously.
Nah, let me just tell you this.
Never actually made a map. You are so bafflingly wrong about this that I can barely even wrap my head around.
I'm so over this dude already.
Around it. The map which you are referencing was based off of the writings of Herodotus, and does not say Atlantis.
Break it down,
says
then.
Atlas. But I'll give you a gold sticker for participation. Also, the fact that you trust a map which is based off of the writings of a Greek historian who lived 2,500 years ago, more than modern archaeological and scientific evidence, is really sad.
With Atlantis described as having an opening to the south and an abundance of elephants, the opening can clearly be seen on satellite, and depictions of elephant carvings litter the area.
There's pictures of elephants near it? Well, Jesus Christ on a bike, it must be Atlantis. Is that seriously how far these conspiracy theorists have to reach? If this were an actual notable discovery, it would be based on like, oh yeah, we found the ruins of, you know, countless buildings in the Richat structure. It would not be based on, oh, there is a cave painting of the same animal that Plato said lived near Atlantis. This is one of those videos that I'm pretty...
Okay, but that is a clue. Sure, it ain't a smoking pew-pew, but that's definitely a clue.
Sure was just greenlit by a corporate shill to use as clickbait. With thumbnails like this and this variety of topics, I really don't think this person actually believes the damn word that's coming out.
And you guys always keep your mind open. There's people like this that are planted that will tell you that it ain't true just so it'll throw you off your game. Always fight the narrative. Always do your homework. Let's get Let's get it.
Out of his mouth, which is no less dangerous than an actual conspiracy theorist. It's just funny. But it's a damn shame because the rich dot structure he's talking about here actually has some unbelievable history around it, including history of human habitation. But since he won't, I can make a video about it if you guys want. But for now, I can't do this anymore. I have to go take a cold shower. But I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you like what I do here, feel free to give me a follow. And if you'd like to see my more long-form archaeological and conspiracy debunking videos, make sure to check me out on YouTube. Link to that is in my bio. And follow me on Instagram and Twitter for a more personal look at my life. Remember to stay curious, stay inquisitive, and most importantly, remember that
the Earth is the lost city of Atlantis. A lot of people don't know. Listen, the lost city of Atlantis was a spiritual world, right? And it was smothered in water. Look at the Earth and look at everything that's in here, right? We surrounded by water, right? And there was people there, right? And then it disappeared, but we disappeared from the connection of God. We disappeared from the connection of the spiritual realm.
Hey, this is my dude Unc right here.
But some people can come in, but nothing can get out. Right? A lot of people don't know this, right?
This fool crazy.
I just told you something a lot of people don't know.
He is crazy.
So we in Atlantis.
However, this dude spits some serious knowledge, man. If you guys ever get the chance to listen to him, check him out.
But we also in Africa, because America is Africa. Everything you think is one thing is really like a lot of different things because everything just mirrors.
So what's Africa?
Africa.
So you think Atlantis ever existed? If one did exist, or a shadow of it, my money would be on Akrotiri. Akrotiri is what's left of a big city that was on the island of Santorini. And when their volcano blew up, it blew up most of the city, blasted what was ever there. But what's left on the side of the crater, Akrotiri, is strangely advanced for its age. And so if there's anything that's a model for Atlantis, as Plato explained it, it's Akrotiri.
So we don't know how advanced that civilization was.
No, but we can walk around the ruins and see that it's got streets, it's got plumbing, it's got little sconces for torches at night. It was a vibrant city with a lot of, especially in terms of hydraulic engineering, it's very advanced for being 3,500 years old. The city itself was probably much larger.
Facts.
And, Plato says that it sunk. It was on an island and it sunk. Well, that's exactly what happened to Akrotiri.
I think this is what Plato was referring to.
If it does exist, at least the model of it, I think this is probably what he was talking about.
They found the entrance to Atlantis. Take a look at this. This is the gate to Atlantis.
I did not expect that dude's voice to sound like that.
Underground world. And this is like where the mer people live and like the gods and stuff. This is Atlantis entrance.
Go to Atlantis, the lost city described by Plato. So let's take off from the north of Africa. There's a theory that Atlantis actually existed, and it sits in the most unexpected place, the Sahara Desert. We took off from the closest airport with a F-16, and even then it's going to take us a few hours to get there. Okay, we reached the desert. Crazy to think this used to be full of rivers and vegetation. Today it's one of the most dangerous places on Earth. So Plato described Atlantis with 2 rings of water and 2 rings of land, with a size of roughly 25 miles across. So we need to find something really big out here. Wait a minute, there's something massive right there. Let's get closer to it. Yeah, this place really matches Plato's description. And if we compare it to the image of Atlantis, this really...
Hey, that's pretty cool that they could do that, man.
Does look like the place. And apparently there used to be water here. We can see the mark perfectly. And around here it also looks like there are river marks leading straight to the city. It gets even better when we look at the map from that time, where Atlantis was shown as an island right in the middle, and it later connected to Africa, ending up exactly where the Sahara is today. But before all that, the continents were completely different. Atlantis was a much larger island, and after thousands of years, it ended up looking like this. And the crazy part is, this place has the same size Plato described in his story.
I am
that is absolutely nuts.
Heir to the tide, sovereign of the coral throne. We are the Orathan, keepers of memory, our voices carved in coral and gold.
I am Luminid, child of the abyss. My veins speak in light and silence.
I'm not sure exactly how far I could be watching that one. That's like the rest of the... It's like a whole movie right there.
The mystery of Atlantis.
I ain't doing all that. Anyways, guys, that's it for the show. Appreciate you guys coming in. You guys already know. If you guys want to go ahead and watch another one of my videos, you can click this one. Or if you guys want to deep dive into something, go ahead and hit that button down there. But you guys already know. Hit that like button. And until next time, much love and stay lifted, guys and gals.